It's not an indictment on anybody else. It's completely an endorsement on Asia Wilson. This is the easiest and should be the easiest decision that we've ever seen in terms of MVP. So if just for and giggles you want to just like throw Caitlyn in the conversation because it's not fun to handicap it at, you know, Asia Wilson's going to win it and no one else is going to come close. But there's no
Let,
debating it. And for
let me ask you a
me,
question.
yeah,
I'm not debating it. And that's why I was like, listen, she's not going to win, but she should be in the conversation, right? She should be invited into this exclusive party, into this exclusive. Let me ask you this. The Fever play the Aces two more times
yeah.
in their 12 games. If
Hmm.
Caitlin Clark wins those individual head-to-head matchups, you don't think you don't think it shortens the odds, shorten
No,
the talk behind it because
no,
you're gonna be on the
no.
desk for all of those ABC primetime games, right? Like you don't think that conversation is gonna be breached between you and the big three?
No. I mean,
Or at
I
least,
think
or
if
at
that
the very least, what about at the very least? Asia Wilson right now, front runner, will likely win MVP. Who's the next best option? Who's her next closest competition? You're
probably
telling me
Stewie.
if Caitlin Clark doesn't win those head-to-head matchups, and the next couple of games, they beat Seattle, they beat Phoenix, they have the Aces twice, they play Minnesota next, and they get the Sun. The Fever, of their 5 games left against winning teams, they're all 5 teams who are ahead of them right now in the standings.
Yeah, no. I don't I think that if we broach that topic on a WNBA countdown, it would just be to stir the pot. No. There has been one
That's
player
what we
ever
do.
in WNBA history that has been a rookie and has won MVP honors, and that is Candace Parker, and that is because she was dominant from beginning
Okay.
to end. I think the race is too far. It's too no. No, I think it's
Okay.
just too far. Like, and again, I think additionally, if you're going to throw a second name in there, it's probably going to be someone like a Brianna Stewart, or
Okay.
maybe even before her team sort of was floundering, and Alyssa Thomas, who's had a couple of top four MVP finishes. And again, none of those are as sexy as Caitlin Clark in terms of big names and whatnot. But no, I think this is Asia's to lose. I think that the conversation about rookie of the year, which had a lot more nuance to it than people wanted to believe even a few weeks ago, when if you even made an argument for Angel Reese, you were deemed a hater. I think that that conversation has become more clear. Um, to me, I've sort of been 10 toes down and that I think it's Caitlin Clark that should get rookie of the year. But that I could understand the argument for Angel Reese. And by the way, shout out to Angel Reese, another double double. I mean, the woman is on fire. She continues to extend already what's been a record breaking season for her in the double double metric. But Chicago is still they're not winning.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
not being impacted by her incredible play in the way that Caitlin is impacting the Fever. Again, a
Correct.
team that started 2-9, have settled in, and now took down two pretty big names, and to your point, have the easiest schedule remaining. So I think that has certainly put some people on alert. And I do think that the rookie of the year conversation gets clear. Like, I think those odds are going to continue to stretch. She was already
Totally
such a
agree.
big favorite. I think
Yeah.
that is going to be solidified over the next couple of weeks. And I think if they're able to stand toe to toe with the Aces and beat them, then that rookie of the year conversation becomes a little bit clearer. But no, I'm not
Okay.
broaching that topic with MVP simply because of what Asia Wilson's doing. And I think we are so apathetic to greatness that we're like, yeah, whatever. I read her resume. It's like, yeah, that's what you expect from her. But again, to do all of those things and have all of those accomplishments and still find a way to elevate is absolutely remarkable, truly. And so I'm still going with the Aces there. But can I
And
give
what
a
people need to realize real
yeah.
quick, L.
And I'm just gonna stop real quick. The rookie of the race, I don't know what L's problem is. The rookie of the race situation's over, completely over. There's no more talks about it. Caitlin Clark is gonna win rookie of the year. I think she's completely wrong. I think Caitlin Clark has a huge chance to win MVP, especially if she does beat the Aces and these. She keeps beating these teams in the style she's doing it, putting up the numbers she's putting up. I think she does, and she hasn't even had the greatest game. Just wait, she's gonna pop off. She's gonna have one of those nights. I'm telling you now. Let's listen in.
Because you said you were 10 toes down on Caitlin Clark. And what people who aren't familiar with Elle's sensibilities, disdains, and likabilities, she absolutely hates feet
I
and
do.
toes. So for her to be 10 toes in anything other than
It's real
sand
support.
on a beach or an ocean, that speaks absolute volumes.
Yeah, it really does. Maybe I should have
You,
said baby toes. They're
you
acceptable.
hate feet. It's
I
the
hate them.
funniest. It's the funniest thing that I've ever known about you. Is like you will like you like dry heave at the
I'm
thought or sight of feet.
I'm disgust I I was on an elevator last year
What?
in Tuscaloosa, and I was at the stadium before the Alabama game. I can't remember who they were playing. Maybe Texas, before Alabama, Texas. And I got on, they were giving me like a tour of the stadium, and I got on one of those freight elevators, and like 10 Alabama bros, like the most typical, stereotypical, like Bama frat boys, all get on the elevator with me.
Hose out.
They're all wearing thong sandals. And I felt I've I almost had a panic attack. Not because I was in an enclosed space, but because there was just feet out everywhere. They were all around me. And when you're in an elevator, so that you can avoid like eye contact, right? Like you tend to look down or whatever. I couldn't look down. I couldn't look up. I didn't know where to look. There was toes everywhere. It was the stuff of nightmares.
That was hell. That was your hell.
Touching me with your feet is like fear factor. You know, like the eating of the Madagascar
tarantulas and stuff?
cockroaches and stuff. That's cool, whatever. I could find a way to choke that down. But my form of torture would be holding me down and then just someone putting their feet on me. It would be tough to
Do
survive.
you make Omar sleep in socks?
No, but if he touches me with his feet, I jump.
Are you serious?
I will wake up. If I feel his toe on me, I will jump.
Elle, that
I
is your
hate it.
husband.
I know.
That is the man you have created children with.
Yeah. And
he
I
can't
created
put
children with him, not his feet.
And he can't put his little piggy.
No.
He can't tickle you with his. That's so good.
That's so gross.
It's so bad, it's good.
It's so great. Speaking of so bad, it's good. Can I give a quick shout out before we move on from the W?
Yes, please.
Can I give a shout out to the Atlanta Dream? Okay. Because it's been a dream
Sure.
start for an Atlanta team that was facing a bit of a nightmare. I mean, they lost 8 in a row and 11 of 12 before the All-Star break. And they resume, and Jordan Canada comes back because they weren't healthy either, and that didn't help.
Okay.
She only played 4 games before the break, but they've had a couple of big wins this week over
Yeah.
Seattle, over Connecticut. And so shout out to Atlanta, man, because they're trying to find their way and can sneak into the playoffs. A team that at one point looked like would be battling with the Mystics for the number
Yes.
1 overall pick, and now, you know, if they can go on a little bit of a run, they can make some noise and at the very least sneak into the postseason. And then the Tina Charles experiment wouldn't have been considered a wash. So shout out to the Dream. I got to give them a little love.
So they're 9-17. They are the 9 spot right now in the WNBA standings. So they would actually be leapfrogging the Chicago Sky if that were to be the case.
Yes. And
something
a quick
to
reminder,
watch out for. Okay.
Exactly. And a quick reminder too, because when I did First Take last week, Mad Dog asked me, for those of you that don't know, we have a lot of new W fans and we love that. With the playoffs, 8 teams make it, right? So 8 out of the 12 teams make the postseason. The top 4 seeds host the best of 3. It's not like Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
The top 4 seeds will host the best of 3 in the quarterfinals. And then those highest seeds that are remaining then host a best of 5 series in the semis, and then obviously in the finals. So that's how it works. So it's going to be a really good next, few weeks, and we'll be holding you down along the way, but love to see the W kind of forming together in the.
So look, we're going to stop it right there. I just want to touch on again. Look, for me, yes, Asia Wilson is amazing. Yes, she looks like the clear winner, I guess you could say, for MVP. But things have not, I wouldn't say clear. I would say she's 95%. But like stated, who's runner-up? Yes, you could maybe say Stewie, but then Caitlin Clark should be in that conversation for what she's doing, for what the hand she's been dealt. See, Asia Wilson plays on the Las Vegas Aces, where she has Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. Who else is over there? Just a well-seasoned veteran team where you have the leverage. Our teams don't have the leverage to double team Asia Wilson. They have to play her one-on-one because every other person is a threat. See, Caitlin Clark, I think based off the pressure, off how she gets played defensively, I think that's why I'm putting her in that race. With the hand she's been dealt on the Indiana Fever. Stewie, she plays on the Liberty. We're talking about 2 of the top teams in the league. We're talking about Indiana Fever was one of the worst teams in the league. Now, arguably about to be one of the best teams in the league under Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying it's just Caitlin Clark, but she has a huge part to do with this offense and the way they're playing. Huge part. And if anybody thinks differently, you're just in denial and you don't know basketball. I think what Caitlin Clark is doing with the hand she's been dealt with is very impressive, and I think that's where people forget to put it into perspective. And I'm not making excuses for anything, but I think you have to keep in mind she's on the Indiana Fever, small market Indiana Fever. And for what they're doing over there, beating these teams, looking like a championship basketball team out there, this is kind of amazing to watch. So for me, I'm putting her in that MVP conversation. You know, yes, we have a couple more games to watch and figure out how she's going to perform. But if she continues on how she's doing and then finishes with the double-double with assists and points, you could see her in that talk. And now we already checked the betting situation. We already checked the odds. Things are looking pretty scary. So, you know, if you guys don't know how to do your research on that, you definitely might want to. You know, I'm very, very heavily involved in all that. So I look at that type of stuff. So I don't know, man. I think Elle kind of got this one wrong. I'm just saying that. Let me know what you guys think. But for me, I think Elle got this conversation wrong. I think Caitlin Clark does have a push for MVP race. And I think the Indiana Fever are going to scare some people in the playoffs. So it's your boy, CEO Kind. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm going to be coming with more topics, more videos. I appreciate you guys for subbing up. I'll catch you on the next video. And we're out.